There's excitement seriously building up in the Banner County. I'm very excited myself because our national leagues are returning this weekend. Our footballers, our hurlers and our ladies footballers are all in action. But I might be excited. I'm nowhere near as excited as the man sitting at the desk across from me. Derrick Lynch, it's your time to shine again.
Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, that's a good build-up. I'm always excited when it's Friday anyway, but I suppose this does help. Yeah, 3 of Clare's 4 flagship teams begin their National League journeys this weekend. The footballers go to Páirc Esler in Newry on Saturday at 6 o'clock to face down. The hurlers are here in Páirc Chíosóg at 2 o'clock to take on Dublin in Division 1B, and at the roughly the same time up in the Antrim GAA Centre of Excellence, which is about 40 minutes north again of Belfast, the Clare ladies begin their Division 3 National League campaign against Antrim. So lots of road trips if you're going to be going up and down. I think there's a good few overnights planned from the footballing contingent anyway, but yeah, lots of action to get stuck into.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, many fond memories yourself from travelling over the Mary McAleese Bridge to go to games in Newry and more. But we'll be doing plenty more of that this weekend, all the Clare fans going. But the first test in earnest for Paul Madden's charges, it's I know, look, you have your Munster League, but the National Leagues is where the competition really starts and where Clare have a serious opportunity to go for silverware. What are you expecting?
Yeah, I'm expecting it's going to be a very, very tough start. As you mentioned, like Down were relegated from Division 2 last year on 6 points, which is fairly unique in the sense that they had won their 3 games, and that would generally be enough to keep you up. But they'll be really, really eager to bounce back up. They've had the upper hand from this fixture point of view the last couple of years, none more so I guess than last year when they kind of bullied Clare around Páirc Chíosóg. So I know that's something the lads will be eager to fix. And just on that, we got the team named this morning. I'll just run you through it. Stephen Ryan is back in goals. You've Alan Sweeney, Ronan Lanigan and Manus Doherty in the full back line. Half back line named anyways: Killian Brennan, Ike Maguire and Fionn Kelleher. Midfield, I think everybody's looking forward to seeing how these 2 boys get on: Brian Mack and Daragh Bohannon. Then you've Brendy Rewine, Vice Captain Dermot Coughlin and Aaron Griffin. And then you've Owen Cleary, Mark McInerney, who's also a Vice Captain, and Cormac Murray. That's the starting team. So what it means is that the captain of the team, Killian Rewine, he's not fit to start. We kind of heard about that earlier in the week. He's carrying a hand injury, and see how he gets on for the Westmeath game next weekend. So that's a good strong mixture of plenty youth and experience in that. So I think you look around that middle third: Killian, Ickham and Fionn, big guys. Brian Mack and Dara, they're 2 fair totem poles. And then Brendy, Dermot and Aaron, just strength and pace in that. And I think, with Owen, Mark and Cormac inside, you've plenty outlets, particularly for that 3-up structure. So I think Clare will go up in plenty hope. It's going to be a very tough fixture though, in a lot of ways. Maybe he's well off to get it out of the way day 1, come down the road then to play Westmeath next week before facing for Fermanagh a couple of weeks later. So it is no sooner started than momentum really starts to build up.
Yeah, absolutely. But that is really exciting to hear, because that's a very strong team named, and even though, as mentioned, Killian Rowan is going to be sidelined this weekend, maybe for a while after with his own injuries. James Kern, unfortunately, is out for the season after a knee injury, but that is a very, very promising side that's been named for the opening round.
Yeah, it is, and there's good strong depth on the bench as well. Like, you've got the likes of Quillan O'Dea, who impressed on his debut down in Waterford. Jamie Stack got a goal that night. Michael Nash has gone really well for Dura Bearfield. Daniel Walsh has plenty of experience. Gavin Murray, Shane Griffin, plenty guys that can come in and make a difference, and they're all going to be needed because it will be very attritional. And of course, a 6 o'clock game under lights, it brings its own particular dynamic to it as well. I do know there's a good strong Clare contingent heading up the road. Newry sounds far away. It's not really. It's motorway all the way, and you're just in off it there from the turn off after Dundalk, so it's not too bad. And I think Clare would be eager to get a good footing, good performance. 2 points, yes, but certainly a good performance to build on.
Yeah, and keeping with the theme of travelling to Ulster for the weekend. No, sorry, that's our next round. We're going to Dunloy. This weekend we don't have to travel to Ulster for our hurlers. Dublin are actually coming to Clare for the visit. So that's, well, actually, Joe, it wouldn't be good to get a bit of momentum at the start when you do have that game in your backyard before that titanic journey up to Dunloy? This
is a 4-pointer straight off the bat, because really, I suppose, when you look at that Division 1B, Clare, Wexford, Dublin, probably your top 3, and Clare have Wexford and Dublin both at home. So I think win this game and you can build forward. Lose it, and as you say, you're going to Dunloy the following week under pressure. Don't get anything out of that, and all of a sudden, are you going to get your promotion spot? So it's a massive, massive game right off the bat for Clare, and one that they certainly can't take for granted. We only have to cast our minds back to, you have these particular moments where you go, where was I when that happened? And I think Dublin beating Limerick in the championship last year was one of those, where they were at the game, watching the game, or listening to it on Radio 1. It was a case of, you remember and I suppose that massive upset. So Dublin are well capable of that. Under Neil O'Callaghan, really, really good, solid manager. He knows Dublin hurling inside out, given what he achieved with Nafina. And, Owen O'Donnell transferring from the footballers to the hurlers for them is massive. He's going to be a huge, huge physical presence. So it's a very well tested, well tried, well thought of Dublin team. Could well be your Division 1B final again, but from a Clare perspective, they simply have to win this game to make sure that they're there. We expect team news in the morning. I think the lads are having their final training session tonight, so we should get some idea. But I think Clare will go strong for this one, because you have to just get that early season momentum. Then you have, with the greatest respect, Carlow and Kildare are games you should be winning. Down is a game you should be winning. That's at home. And then you've Wexford left. So I think these first 2 weeks, will really set up where Clare are looking after that.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, our ladies footballers are also making their league debut, I believe, this weekend, and they've a big journey ahead of them too. Yeah,
something onto a 10-hour round trip, I'd say, roughly, or thereabouts, particularly if you're coming from the West Clare club. So big journey for Graham Shine and Niall Hickey, who's now part of the management team as well. And I suppose from a Kilmurray perspective, very proud to see Joanna Doohan as captain of the Clare ladies footballers as well. I think she's a fabulous player, a really good leader, strong personality, and she'll do really well in that role. And they'll have a strong contingent. I suppose there's more intrigue in this because ladies football now have their own new rules. We've spent the last 12 months talking about the FRC. Ladies football have adopted a number of them, including the descent rule, the 3-up, the 2-pointers, all that stuff that's brought into it, the solo and go, and definition around the tackle. I think anybody that's been at Camogie and ladies football games the last couple of years would have been very frustrated by watching a player coming out with a ball. There's a player in front of her, she bowls over her and she gets the free, so that barging element, I think they're trying to tackle that some little bit, so that'll add a bit of intrigue to the game as well if you're heading up there. And this of course a repeat of the Division 3 final from a couple of years ago that Clare won, so there'll be plenty of recent history between the teams. And if Clare are going to get promoted, it would be brilliant to come down the road from Antrim with 2 points if they can, and then 3 points on the board in that structure, and then you've 3 home games to come in a row, plus a trip to Limerick, which is kind of a home. It's not no major stress to go there, so it would put them on a brilliant footing if they could get it off to the right start this weekend.
Yeah, and it's incredible really to think that this is all happening this weekend, and it's January 23rd. It feels like no time has passed since we finished our main championships last year.
I think enough time has passed now, to be honest, particularly from a Clare hurling perspective. We were out of it an awful lot earlier than we would have hoped to be, so it's great to have it back. And what's there is a huge appetite for inter-county games. You only have to think about that game in Tulla in the Munster League between Clare and Limerick. Huge crowd there. The carnage that followed on the Monday night in Mallow for Clare and Cork, and even the crowd that was at the Harty game here last weekend, that's massive as well. So I think there'll be a big crowd in Páirc Chíosóg, and hopefully shouting the lads on. And as I say, I know there's a big footballing contingent heading up to Newry on Saturday as well.
Yeah, Derrick, is there anything, I suppose, when you look at the 3 games, and I know this is a broad question, but to really that we should be keeping an eye out for? I know Brian Loughton, for example, has brought a number of new additions into his panel. Paul Madden has added a few as well, and look, undoubtedly Clare ladies really want to target that promotion spot too.
Yeah, I think I suppose all we're looking out for really are the results on Sunday evening to know if they all got points on the board. But yeah, you're right, I suppose for Lohan it's more of a balancing act. The Division 3 thing is more cutthroat because Clare have to get promotion, so there isn't really a whole pile of room for kind of experimentation. And as I say, that's a very strong Clare football team that's named, Fionn Caolar, probably the newest face in it when you go down through it. The rest of them have plenty experience at senior level. For Brian and his management team, it's a case of when do we get the opportunity to blood the newer players, the likes of the Dermot Stretches and Jack O'Neills of the world. When do they get their chance? How do you mix and match them in and out? So, and also, there's no point putting out a team with 13 young lads, because where is the leader going to learn? You have to have your stronger players out there to kind of match educate the younger fellas as well. So that's always a bonus from a manager's point of view when that happens. And I suppose if you have a panel deep enough to do it, it's a bonus as well.
And unfortunately, that is all we have time for on our sports preview. But if you can't make the journey up to Páirc, Esler and Newry, if you can't be in Chíosóg Park, and if you can't be in Antrim for the ladies football either, there'll be full coverage on Clare FM over the weekend. Yeah, there certainly will. Loads of previews tonight on Sideline View, and also, as you say, live coverage from Páirc Esler, live coverage from Páirc Chíosóg, and we'll have a presence of some sort as well up in Dunswilly, where the Antrim GS Centre of Excellence is located. So lots of reasons to keep tuned. Absolutely. Well, Derrick Lynch, our sports editor, thanks very much for that.